Okay, I wanted to speak about the meaning of Shor Livyoson and Shor Habar and Livyoson. The Rebbe in the last years kochsich a lot in the pituyim and the expressions the Rebbe said we're sitting together with Mashiach by the Shor Livyoson, Shor Habar, Livyoson. The Rebbe spoke a lot about it. He mentioned it a lot. He also mentioned if you only open up your eyes, you'll see you're sitting with with Eibusha together with the Shor Livyoson and Shor Habar. There's many different biurim, remozim, and yonim that are associated to Shor Habar and Livyoson. Just to start with the basics, there's a few gemaras that are put together to explain the different aspects that are going to take place by this Suda. There's a Gemara in Pesachim that says that the pasuk says that Avraham made a great feast in the day that he gamel could either mean the day that he was weaned, that he stopped nursing, the day he got his bris, or different biurim. The Gemara says the Eibusha will make a great suda at the time that the Eibusha will finally save the Yidden. He's going to make a great suda. And then, when it's going to come the time to bench, the Eibusha is going to say to Avram, you bench. Avram will say, I can't bench. Why can't I bench? Because Ishmael came out of me. He's going to give the berach to Yitzchak. Yitzchak will say, I can't bench. Esav came out of me. He'll give it to Yaakov, say, I can't bench because I married two sisters, which later the Torah is going to say it's no good. He married Leah and Rachel. The Moshe Rabbeinu who says he won't bench because he didn't bring the Eretz Yisrael. Yeshua won't bench, he didn't leave over his son to inherit him. And upon him, finally they're going to give the bracha to David HaMelech. David HaMelech will say, Ani avarech v'li no alavarech. I will bless, and to me it's appropriate to bless. Like it says, Kois Yeshua Yisesa. I think, if you remember correctly, the pasuk says, David HaMelech says, I lift up a cup of salvation, in the name of Hashem I call out. So in this, there's many aspects in the Gemara which I'm not going to, probably won't get to today, but just in this Gemara we see the concept David will make a big feast when Mashiach will come. There's other Midrashim and Gemaras that speak about this feast, and they focus on the Livyoson and the Shor Habar. The Livyoson, Rashi says, we learned in Pashas Bereshis, it says, V'yivra l'kim es l'taninim ha'gedolim, David created the big fish. So it says that goes on Livyoson Bazugay. There was a male and female Livyoson. The Eibusha saw that if they're going to have children, they're going to be such huge creatures that will destroy the world. So the Eibusha killed the female and he kept it for tzaddikim was lovely. And there's also the Shor Habar, the Gemara in Bava Basra speaks about the Shor Habar. There it also says it was a male and a female. The female wasn't killed, they just took away the ability to have children. And it's going to be used for the Suda when Mashiach will come. There's the Pashtus, the Livyoson and Shor Habar, there's Psukim and Eiv, in the book of Eiv, which probably not one of the things people sit and learn in yeshiva. But there is in the capital in Mem and Malach somewhere.
We learned it.
Huh?
We learned it. Yeah, we learned it.
Viele Krebbe hat gewollt, dass lernen nach.
In Bobbe Basel bringt er das an. Ganz Eve. Ganz Eve. And Eve, Mishle in Eve, the Pini Kofik.
So, and Eve, I think in capital Mem and Malach and somewhere further, give it a few program, take away a few program. It speaks there about the Eibusha speaking to Eiv, like Eiv was having kindness, how come you're suffering so much? The Eibusha is basically telling him, if you want to run the world, do you have any idea of, are you able to compare with Eibusha? And he speaks there about the might of the Livyoson and Shor Habar. It says they're psukim, how they're huge creatures, and, and the amount of them, the Gemara says different in Yonim, about the Livyoson and Shor Habar. Now, there's, in general, when it comes to Agada, there is always two schools of thought. There's that school of thought which interprets things kipshutam, literally. Then you have the school of thought that tries to explain things in a homiletic, more than a remez. So when it comes to Inyanim of Livyoson and Shor Habar or anything, so there are those midrashim, there are those meforshim that explain it on a remez, but biyachadim zeh, there are those that explain it kipshutai.
Kipshutai?
Huh?
Kipshutai? Was in Livyoson that they killed the Livyoson was?
Was from the Rebbe, yeah. Kipshuti begash is from Nazamin Behema, was heißt der Shor Habar, von Nazamin Fish, was heißt der Livyoson. When Rashi sagt es, when Rashi says it's Taninim HaGedolim, Zel Livyoson and Bazuka, what does he mean? It means that it's a Remez.
But it's not a Remez, but it's somewhere Chves was.
I don't know where it is, but it exists.
No, but it's not, yeah, but it's not.
It's not Beilam Azagashmi.
It is, Chves B'Dilang has, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is.
I don't think that.
No, but it's.
Well, you know where Zelo Mazek, sorry to say.
You know the Rashba, I don't know, I spoke about it. The Rashba in Bavasra, the Rashba wrote a whole that the God of cotton.
Yeah.
But that the vice of Maverov is of a cotton, and the God, huh?
Yeah.
Is was recovered from the mother was. So the Rashi writes over there to the kids of these certain kids that they want to go away learn saying this, and they said to him, look, the Torah Gemara says it's double cotton, and he's mad with them the whole marshal and what even double cotton, you know, but this, you get the idea. It's not
what.
The Dvarim daily, these high things are not
taking Kipshutan. Yeah, I'm saying, listen, there's certain Gemara, I'll put it like this, I'll make one call gadol. But there's certain Gemaras that it's kamat impossible to take it Kipshutan. You have certain, mostly you have Mais and Gittin, the Sugis of the Churban. Yeah, at Rabbi Bochana you have the Sugis of Gittin where you have that the Shishim Ribe Ayoris, that the Ganei Malach had 600,000 cities, each one had 600,000 people. It comes out to about 360 billion or something people.
Where? And what?
36, whatever it is.
Possible could throw with that sea.
Right, and the whole civilization today is 7.5 billion. So, but everyone there more or less says that's to them that it's the number 60, whatever. I don't know what's 600,000 times 600,000. Not sure. It ends up to be a number of billion. So they say that it's a remez. It's 60 just means a lot. It's number 60. On the other hand, there's certain gemaras that you could learn in Kipshutai. So you have those people, you have those Mefarshim that they always try to learn everything al derech haremez. But Misad Hasheni, the one Mefarshim said, true, there's deep Seidas hidden here, but it doesn't take away that you could explain the Kipshutai. Und ich will das a besondere Suche.
I perceive it. That's a pshat. It's the real meaning is in Ruchnish.
So now, when it comes to Livyoson and Shor Habar, I'll tell you, there's a Sikh of the Rebbe and Tovshin and Beis. I think it's Vayigash, if I'm not mistaken. It's not in the Mugadik Sikh, it's the Bilti Muga. The Rebbe said that when Mashiach will come, the Rebbe said discusses the Sud Livyoson and Shor Habar says, it's also explained in Beruchni, it's also explained in Begashmis. So the Rebbe says, Sud Livyoson and Shor Habar is Begashmis. The Rebbe added the Moededik voice says, when Mashiach will come, we will the Iker is Gashmis because Atzmus is in Gashmis. The Rebbe said we'll see how all the Ruchnistic Pirushim of the Livyoson and Shor Habar draw their chayis from the way the Livyoson and Shor Habar are begashmis. That was Lashon the Rebbe negate the Sud of Livyoson and Shor Habar. Mamish negate this thing. So but Pashas is ungenumen. There's plenty of that. There is such a creature. When the Shor Habar you have, it says in certain places that it eats 1,000 mountains of food every day. So if that prat, where do we have these 1,000 mountains?
Where it is.
Whatever it is, if that is Ruch, this Begashis, whatever it might be. But Pel Mamish, some people stamped interpreted the Livyoson to be a whale, the Shor Habar to be a buffalo, but it doesn't. Something came.
Livyoson you could easily explain. I'm sorry. Let's divide it in two and two. It says Hashem killed the Livyoson. The Nekeva.
Yeah.
The Zocher died, maybe.
No, the Zocher is going to be alive because there's going to be a fight between the Livyoson and Shor Habar.
And the fin, he's going to take the fin and some people.
He has to be alive.
Pshuta shel Mikro in Rashi about the Livyoson that Hashem killed in the Nekeva and Molchi lost it love.
The Nekeva Molchi.
That Pshuta shel Mikro is easier to understand.
Good. Ich will nicht reingehen in them. That B'chal is not the point of the shir.
Okay.
So now, I want to discuss again the Pashas, Livyoson and Shor Habar are physical. There's a physical, there's certain places there's more protein. There's a fish called the Sadai also. There's more pratim. Everybody here knows Livyoson and Shor Habar. There's other pratim discussed in other places as well. There's in the Ramami Panu, he has a whole arichas about the Sud. The Moiridik thing, he says that the Eibusher will bring out the Mon. Moiridik things he says about the Sud. The whole arichas he has. And it b'rechul n'sharayim in the ganzen Mai. So I wanted to focus on Livyoson and Shor Habar. So it says like this. Now, the Livyoson and Shor Habar is very important to understand, particularly when you're talking about the deeper meaning of it, that there's really two aspects. When we hear about the Livyoson and Shor Habar, there's two main points over here which should not be mixed together. There's a kanegia, however you say it. The Medrash says that there's going to be a fight between the Livyoson and Shor Habar when Mashiach will come. And it says whoever doesn't go to see the sport of Yisraelim, they used to sport with animals and thus. Half of the Romans, they had human beings also against beasts. They had beasts against beasts. So whoever doesn't participate in that will be zoichet to see this great sport, this great show that will be of the Livyoson and Shor Habar. How the Livyoson is going to shecht the Shor Habar with its fins, and the Shor Habar is going to use its horns to break apart the Livyoson. It actually is even brought on in Halach. You look in Hilchas Shabbos and Siman Shin Zayin, it speaks there about hunting on Shabbos, killing animals, and it mentions there about hunting through dogs. In the Gei Hilchas Shabbos, and it says that even during the weekdays you shouldn't do it because of Moshe of Leitzim. If somebody does it, he won't be zoichet to see Simchas Livyoson. What does Simchas Livyoson there mean?
Alter Rebbe brings it.
Alter Rebbe brings it in Siman Shin Zayin. Simchas Livyoson doesn't mean the Sudas Livyoson, the meal of the feast of Livyoson. Simchas Livyoson means the show. Then the next Medrash continues and says,
front row, second row.
Then the Medrash continues and says that the Eibishter is going to make a great feast. And there you have the whole thing, the whole separate discussion. The Medrash asks, how's the Shechita of the kosher Shechita? Because the fins have pigimim, the knife, when you shech the behemoth, the knife has to be smooth. The fin of the fish has, it's like a sword. The whole thing, the Eibishter is a Chiddush Torah, the Eibishter will say it's kosher.
The same Eibishter, there is mazes clearly.
I don't want to get into it, I'm just saying it's connected. But then it says that the Medrash continues, that the Eibishter is going to make a feast for the Tzadikim Lasad Lavoi, from the Livyoson and whoever in the Shor Habar, and whoever didn't, he doesn't say from Livyoson and Shor Habar, based on other sources it comes out from the Livyoson and Shor Habar. And whoever didn't eat treifa foods in this world, or he doesn't eat nevelos, it says there will merit to participate in this Suda. So this is another, here you have in this Medrash lays out that there's two parts. There's the show of the Livyoson and Shor Habar, and there's the feast. The reason why I'm mentioning this because in Chassidus, there's my Maimorim, L'Kutei Torah Pasha Shmini, which is basically discusses this Medrash. And other Maimorim, they discuss a lot the show. What's the meaning of this fight that will take place in Livyoson and Shor Habar? The Sud of Livyoson and Shor Habar comes later, as a second inning, which I want to focus on a little bit today. So this is one of the Medrashim, which are the main sources for the Sud of Livyoson and Shor Habar. You also have a Gemara in Bava Basra. Stafayin Dal, hey, Summers over there, the Gemara speaks about it. And it also says about the Livyoson, that they should to be a meal for it. And it speaks there about that will be the skin of the Livyoson will shine, and based on how much a person deserves, whether he'll get just a small piece, or become a necklace, or a bigger piece, whatever it might be. And then you have also, everybody heard, I'm sure, the Yain HaMeshumer. That is, says that Gemara and Brachas, that when Mashiach will come, we'll drink the Yain HaMeshumer Ba'Navach, the wine that was kept in its grapes in 6 days of creation. And as again, it's different midrashim, and they're all put together. This Yain HaMeshumer will be served by the Sudas of Yasin. Now, first of all, what is the meaning of this Suda? So there is in Pshat, it's going to be a meal, the Suda. What is the purpose of it is already a matter, there's all discussions here. So, I'll start off, Bruch Nisyan and Begashmi, it's a bit hard to, there's a few Pirushim here. Beruchnis in Yoram, there's many explanations here.
It's easier to understand Beruchnis.
Yeah.
Goshma is a little too hard.
There's a Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva. The Rambam discusses Gan Eden. And the Rambam writes, speaks about Gan Eden, he says there's many names we find for Gan Eden. In the Psukim, we have Chatzris Hashem, Beich Veis, Hara Hashem. And the Rambam writes, Psaloshin, that the Chachamim called this good, the good that's this future good that's hidden from the Tzaddikim, from Mashiach to come, they called it in a way of a mushroom with the name Su'uda, a feast.
Where's the Rambam writing?
This Rambam, Nuchas Shuva Perichas. You could bring it,
yeah. I don't remember.
The Rambam writes that the Chachamim call it B'Shem Suda. It seems, I'm just saying, even though, that the Rambam is learning that this Suda that's spoken about that will happen is a spiritual Suda which refers to the Gluim of Gan Eden. Just like physically a meal that you have is a Geshmak meal, which you physically you enjoy. So the spiritual enjoyment of Gan Eden is also compared to a meal, a spiritual meal that you eat and you drink. There's a famous Hasagas Harayvad on the Rambam. He says that if the way the Rambam learns is right, ain't kan koshel bracha. You don't have koshel bracha. You can spend the whole shir on this Rambam and Harayvad, which is very interesting. But anyway, but Pashas, how do people learn? They learn that the Medrash says that after they, like I mentioned before, not the Gemara said that after they eat and drink, so they're going to give the Koshel Bracha. Avrom will on a bench. Yitzchak will on a Malach will bench. So the Pashas, it sounds like the Rayvad is saying that if the meal is a spiritual meal, what's the benching going on? Then this is that there's a Sovnas Panech, Moridek Kedogachav on the hill on Hilchos Tshuva over here. There's a whole, he says, takes this whole Rayvad and I'm on a whole different level. But I don't want to get into that. But the Rambam, I'm just bringing this out to highlight the idea of a suit of a meal in a spiritual sense means the same way physically when you eat, there's physical celebration, physical delight, physical nutrition. So spiritually also the nutrition, the delight of the soul is called a meal. Now, so the Suda of Livyoson and Shor Habar is a spiritual, if you understand the Beruchnis is a spiritual delight of sorts, so what different levels are called Livyoson and Shor Habar. Now, over here, there's an interesting, the son of the Rambam, Rav Avram ben HaRambam, wrote a sefer called Muhammad Hashem. And he writes there, it's not such a long sefer, but he focuses it a lot on Sudas of Livyoson. He was writing against people that they were upset at the Rambam, that the Rambam explained things, not literally, like the Rambam didn't, so he writes there, he speaks about the Sudas, says that for this person, he's looking forward his whole life. What he's looking for his good roasted piece of meat, fish and meat. I'm just rephrasing it, not to him. As someone is chas v'shalom going to say that the Suda Shaleki Pshuta, he's not literally going to have his steak and his piece of fish, so it will take away his whole his whole purpose in life.
What you live for.
But the end gesagt, ich bin moichel mein Stück Livyoson, hab ich Anyway, what the Rav Avram and the Rambam writes, he says, I'm going to...
I used to say always, as a kid, if after 120 or 20, he finds that this whole thing was, he'll never forgive the Eibishter, so not let him go eat in McDonald's. He'll never forgive him for that.
No. Yeah, no, so Avram ben Rambam is...
So Avram ben Rambam, he says, I'll explain, he says, for this guy, he said, listen, I don't want to take away his, for him this is what life is all, Mashiach is all about, but let me explain to you a little bit what the deeper meaning, he says there's nothing wrong if you learn it, it's also Gepshuta, but he says, Chachamim understand that the Ikar is not there's a deeper meaning of it. So he says, I'll explain you a little bit, he says, Dinyan of Achila, he gives a very interesting explanation. There's really two aspects here if you think about it. Dinyan of Achila, what means Achila? Achila means eating. Achila could also come from, he brings it says by the Akedah, we say every day in the Akedah, Vayikach Hashem Machelas. The knife that Avraham took to the Akedah is called Machelas. Why is it called the Machelas? So Rashi writes, forget whatever, but the point is he says that it destroys, it kiloyim, it comes from the word, it kills the animal. He said like this, he says the Livyoson represents the Yetzer Hara. That's the way he explains it. There's different biurim in the Livyoson, and from one extreme to the other extreme. Some places in the Chassidus Livyoson is the Tzahai Sadikim. There's other biurim, even up in Chassidus, you have certain klippas are called Livyoson also. Deepest klippas, Pari is called Livyoson Nokosh Briach. Whatever, but the Livyoson, I don't want to, I just want people just to get back to them, but don't get taken aback.
Okay, so he
says the Achilas Livyoson means that there's eating up, in other words, getting rid of the Yetzer Hara. And he explains, he said, why the Yetzer Hara is called Livyoson, he doesn't explain so much. I think he says because Livyoson comes from the word like Levi. Levi means escort. Apam you love Ishi Elai. It says the Yetzer Hara is always escorting the person. The second he's born, the Yetzer Hara is with him. This is Aveda. So he says that when Mashiach will come and the whole world will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem, so and everybody, it said Abishu will spread a spirit of prophecy over everyone. It says, obviously, in order for that to happen, the Yetzer Hara has to be taken away. Because how's it Shayach? We say even a Navi could only have Nevuah if he controls his Yetzer Hara. So Mashiach will come and be such a knowledge, everyone will be prophets. Obviously, the Yetzer Hara has to be taken away. So as the eating of the Livyoson is a hint, the shechting of the Livyoson or the Achilas Livyoson is a hint for the killing of the Yetzer Hara. So that's Mitzad Hasheni. He also says Livyoson comes from the word Livyas Chen, that beauty that escorts a person. In other words, I think it seems to also be saying, or if he doesn't say it, other people say, eating of the Livyoson represents secrets that are gonna will be joined to us, will escort us, will become part of us, and Mashiach will come. That's the way that Avraham and Rambam explains the Achilas of Yosef. I have to almost finish already, but I'll just that's again more of a pshat ruchnistic way of understanding it. There's another way of understanding the Achilas of Yosef and Shor Habar, which this is why I wanted Den Yaakov. Look at Den Yaakov Bava Basra in the Al Dayin Hey. He brings down from the Rashba, the Agodas of the Rashba. He goes the whole Arichas on this. He said like this, but just in one Nakuda that he explains, he says there's certain foods that a person eats. The person's intellect and his capability of understanding and comprehending and feeling depends to a certain degree on what people eat. Avla Moshel, in Chassidus and other places, it's explained that eating edler foods, if a person eats more refined foods, it makes him more refined. He's able to think more refined sichlim. So he says like this, he says that the same way the mon, it says, Torah was given those that ate the mon. The mon, Chassidus explains, was brought on an earlier Sfarim, was a spiritual light. Really, the mon was a spiritual type of food, really. It had every taste you wanted it to have. It was all the miracles that happened with the mon. If you took too little, whatever. So, the mon was a spiritual food that became, so to say, physically able to eat it, but in its source was a spiritual light that was brought down this physical world. So when you ate it, it opened up your mind and your heart to be able to understand Torah. So he says it could be the same way even begashmis. You have certain things, certain grasses, certain roots that people eat have different schools. Something helps you. He says it could be Livyoson and Shor Habar. Could be that they have a certain pashat. The eating of it will open up our hearts and the minds and prepare us for the understanding, for the gilurim that will happen when Mashiach will come. That's the nekuda. He goes into a whole arichas which I didn't get a chance to go through today. But he explains the same way even b'chlal eating, b'chlal su'uda, if it's done properly, gives you a certain brings you a certain simcha, and simcha is a prerequisite for understanding simcha. Like you have the Levim, the Nevi'im, they used to have musical instruments. He goes through the whole thing, how a meal and the whole thing, it's really just the hachana, the delight of the meal and the foods of the meal, our preparation to be able to grasp the secrets that will be when the Mashiach will come. That is a one beard in the Livyoson Shor Habar. There's just one more nekuda that I just want to say. Al derech what Rabbi Avram and Rambam said. But the Ragged Shavar also has in his drush, he has about the Livyoson also, and he brings an interesting thing. He says there's a Gemara that asks if you're allowed to write Sifrei Torah, Tefillin, whatever, on the skin of a fish. So the Gemara says when Eliyahu Hanavi will come, he'll tell us if it's permissible or not. Pashas, the question is if the Gashmi, the skin of a fish, is good enough to write. So he goes through a whole thing, he explains, he brings a Gemara, a dog, it's a Gemara about the Livyoson, I think. A dog and pretty fish are more, they're not so modest, they have more of a Yetzer Hara. And he goes through a whole thing, he says that the skin of the fish, the question whether you're allowed to write tefillin on the skin of a fish means, if the Yetzer Hara tefillin, we know Chassidus explains, as the Shiva D'Alev HaMoyach, he explains it in his, it's connecting your heart and your mind to Hashem. If the Yetzer, this is the Ragged Shavar. So he says the whole thing. He says when Eliyahu Hanavi will come, means Mashiach will come. Eliyahu Hanavi will tell us that through all the suffering in Golus, the Yetzer Hara was refined. That now you're able to write even on the skin of the fish, which he connects with the Livyoson, which represents the Yetzer Hara, will be able to use the skin of the Livyoson, which now is the klipa, to write tefillin on it, to connect yourself to Hashem. So he goes through the whole thing of explaining how the eating of the Livyoson represents the transformation of Mashiach will come, the transformation of the Yetzer Hara to Kedusha. In other words, the Livyoson represents the Yetzer Hara. The shechting and eating it represents the transformation of the Yetzer Hara to Kedusha. And I'll just finish off, this goes back to the beginning of the thing that I mentioned, the Shaykhus of David HaMelech to the Sutta. David HaMelech says, Ani avarech lina olavarech. I'm going to bench. Mepharshim asks Kashal, Avram didn't bench because of Yishmael. Yitzchak didn't bench because of Eisav. Yaakov didn't bench because the Torah will later forbid Leah and Rachel. Think about when David HaMelech all of a sudden pops up and says, I'm going to bench. I'm pure. Hold on, what about Bashava, whatever it is? So the answer is a very geschmack word, because David HaMelech was Mechadash Nin of Tshuva. It says that David HaMelech Heikem Oil Shel Tshuva. He was the one that brought about this world in of Tshuva. So the whole idea of this Sutta is the idea of the transformation of the negative things of the Yetzer Hara to Kedusha. The Livyoson Shor Habar represent how the negative forces are being now, transformed to Kedusha. So this Sutta, David HaMelech says, Ani avarech lina avarech. Yes, I'm the one to bench, because I'm the one that brought about even of tshuva, which was the transformation of the. He goes through the yain hameshum b'nov medidik avort. He says the eitz hadas, according to one opinion, was wine. So the yain hameshum is from the eitz hadas. It seems he's saying it's a transformation of the eitz hadas. Another one.
Also in of tshuva.
Yeah, also the in of tshuva. But we hope we can take it from Yad Mamish.
At the beginning, actually. This is the beginning. You want to continue this?